Will Amazon's Lord of the Rings MMO finally respect Tolkien's lore, or will it be another Rings of Power flop? Well, considering that the developers of the game are not connected to the developers of the Rings of Power TV series, they have a good chance of actually respecting the lore. But on the other hand, it is Amazon. So will they just milk this franchise for their own greedy needs, or will we actually get a pretty decent game? I'm hoping for the latter. But today we're going to investigate that a little bit. I decided why don't we go over this IGN article that has an interview from one of the main lead designers and developers of the new game coming out. He talks a little bit about Tomb Raider. We're going to skip that part because we're mainly interested in the Lord of the Rings MMO stuff. And then after that, we're going to watch this YouTube video that's kind of covering the MMO as well. Then finally, I have a special treat for y'all, so stick around to find out what that is. Okay, let's get started. Exclusive Amazon Games boss says Lord of the Rings MMO still early. Okay, we could skip this part. And then it goes huge task. So from just the title alone, we know that it's in still pretty early development. But this this kind of confuses me because I kind of pre-read this, didn't read everything, but I kind of read it a little bit, and there's some parts in here that confuses me about this statement. All right, it says we talk to Christoph Hartman about the state of Amazon games in 2024. I'm guessing that's this guy right here. In recent years, Amazon Games has become known for MMOs like Lost Ark, Throne and Liberty, and Blue Protocol. I I actually didn't know that Lost Ark or Throne and Liberty were made from Amazon Games. It shows you how much little I know. I mean, I've been stuck too much into Lotro and Marvel Rivals and WoW and things like that. I need to branch more. I have been playing a bit of New World, and unpopular opinion, I do like it as if you play it just as an RPG, not so much an MMO. But anyways, let's get back in. In recent years, Amazon Games has become known for the MMOs like Lost Ark, Throne and Liberty, and Blue Protocol. Massively multiplayer games from predominantly Asian publishers built around grinding. But even with several new releases on the horizon, including a Lord of the Rings MMO, there are signs that Amazon Games is ready to move on from just one genre that has defined it. Okay, so this is probably the part that we're going to get into Tomb Raider stuff. Yeah, see right here. So I'm going to skip that part because we're not interested in that. While Amazon Games has been mostly quiet through 2024, Hartman says, so this is a year old, maybe just a few months because it depends on what part of 2024 we're talking about. Hartman says that the publisher has been busy behind the scenes, calling it one of its most important years to date. Amazon Games currently has 10 games in development, he says, and are currently negotiating a couple more. These include blue chip games like Tomb Raider and the Lord of the Rings MMO, as well as new driving games and Informer that developers behind it. Yeah, nobody cares about that. At least none of y'all in my audience, we don't really care for that stuff. Still, questions remains. Despite saying as recently as June that a reveal for Lord of the Rings MMO is not too far away. So see, this was like June 2024. So maybe let's see. No, that so we're not. This article is still pretty relevant, but that also means they're like a whole half of a year or more into development of the game. And if he's already saying right here it's not too far away, this is the part that confused me. It says it's still early, but then not too far away. Those are contradictive statements. And now that it's been a few more months later, could we actually potentially see this new Lord of the Rings MMO trailer soon? Maybe even like a sneak peek? I'm hoping we get some type of development trailer thing. I know y'all in Lotro do not crucify me. I love the game, but I want to play another Lord of the Rings game, and I love MMOs, hand in hand. And if it sucks, I'm gonna be back at Lord of the Rings Online. If it's good, I'm still gonna be playing Lord of the Rings Online. Just a win-win in my opinion. It's gonna if it's a good game, it's gonna make Lord of the Rings Online push itself to be a even better game. if it's a bad game, it's gonna make more people reminded of Lord of the Rings Online and how good we have it. You know what I mean? All right, let's continue. He says we're still trying to find the hook. Find the hook. Find that idea of what it is because we don't just want to go and do the same thing over. What does he mean by that? The same thing over. Is he talking about New World, Lost Ark, and things like that here? Or is he talking about possibly Lotro? That's a weird statement too, because like it could be him talking about Lotro and being like, "Hey, we don't want to do the same thing as they're doing over there," or he could be saying, "We don't want to do the same thing as our current MMOs." You know, who knows what he means by that? While it's tempting sometimes with an existing IP, that's not the point. IP meaning Lord of the Rings. That's not the point of doing it. You've got wait. While it's tempting sometimes with an existing IP, that's not the point of doing it. Now, this actually raises an eyebrow or two for me. Um, the reason why is this phrasing, existing IP, that's not the point of doing it, can be taken as if they're not going to respect the IP, meaning Lord of the Rings, and do it the way it's written. But maybe I'm looking too into it, but it is Amazon, you guys. You know, we got to be, you can't judge us for being speculative and very critical on every single move they've done after they blopped out Rings of Power. And if you like Rings of Power, hey, props to you. It wasn't my cup of tea. There's some cool battle scenes and fight scenes, but for the most part, I felt offended by the ripping of Tolkien's lore from that show. But hey, you've got to find a fresh twist. Oh my more bad words. Dude, this is not good looking good. And we're still, I think, in that period where we really want to find out what could be the hook. What could be the hook, dude? You have the rights to the third age. They have the rights to the same stuff that Lord of the Rings Online has. They don't have the second age or first age rights yet. Middle Earth Enterprise, the company that is working with Amazon Games on this development, they have only released the same basically rights that Lotro has for it. So their hook, bro, is the third age. You go through it, you make it basically like an updated Lord of the Rings Online, but like you could do New World fighting style. I personally like tap target more, but you could do action RPG, and that would be make it separated from Lotro just a bit more. And I think people would be very happy. But knowing Amazon, they're going to do something weird and funky and make things all messed up. I'm praying they don't because I really, really want this game to be good, you guys. I know. I want it to be good. The reason why is because I just want more people to love Lord of the Rings. I'm a Lotro fan, but at the bottom of my heart, I'm more so a Lord of the Rings fan. So let's keep going. Where are we at? Oh, yeah. And we're still, I think, in that period where we really want to find what could be the hook. What could be the thing which is different to all other games out there? Okay. This eases me a little bit. When he says what could be the thing which is different to all the other games out there, that makes me think that what he was talking about is more relevant to gameplay or the way an MMO works. So I'm hoping that's what all this previous stuff is about. But these people are very good at making statements that are very broad but kind of cryptic at the same time and feeling like it's like all good and glory, but they're really giving it away that hey, we're gonna screw with it. But who knows? Again, I'm hoping it's good. There are also plenty of questions around Tomb. Okay, nobody cares about that. Which has been okay, so which has been caught up in the mire around the Embracer Group. That is Embracer Group. They're the ones that own the properties to a lot of the Lord of the Rings stuff right now. And so that's who that is right there. Harmon mostly waves them off, saying that development Crystal Dynamics is fairly sheltered from everything going on with Embracer. I don't again, Tomb Raider stuff. Let's see. Is there anything else in here that really talks about Lord of the Rings? Because okay, let's skip down there. King of Meat, quite the name. Okay, so yeah, y'all, I don't think I'm seeing very much anything left of Amazon, like the Lord of the Rings stuff. It's kind of just more Amazon Games things going on for here. Okay, so here, right here, obviously it's a goal. Everyone wants to have his evergreen franchise, which goes on for 10 years. But when you and me do this for long time enough, we will really run through the list of either publishers or developers. Most people, it took a while to get there. It doesn't happen for the first game. I was there, but it was almost before my time. I was here less than 9 months. And that's what makes Amazon great. Eventually, we want to have a couple of evergreen franchises where we really can play the strengths of Amazon, but we just keep going on. So, with New World and Lost Ark, we had some promising success. They did actually have some. They're very good at getting people to play the games right when they come out, but they're not good at retaining people. They're not good at end game. Neither is Lotro really, but they're not like at least Lotro has that very hook of it being Middle Earth that keeps people playing. New World and Lost Ark, they just don't. You pretty much once you've beaten the content, to my understanding, I haven't even finished New World. I'm still going to. I see that there's not much to do or purpose to stay in them as so that's probably the problem. Maybe that's what they're talking about here. So, anyways, y'all, it looks like they're not really. He's just talking about a bunch of Amazon specific stuff now. So we're going to move on to our next spot. This is a video I found. It's not. It's a little old, but hey, it's still talking about the Amazon games and Lord of the Rings MMO. This guy mainly mains New World, and I'll tell you why that's important. Because he's been knowing exactly how Amazon Games does things, especially for MMOs. He's been playing New World constantly, makes tons of guides for it, just because, he wants to see the good future of Amazon. There's a few of us that do. Just because it's a big corporation doesn't mean we all have to hate it. These studios aren't that same corporation. They're not all Jeff Bezos. They're different people. So I want to watch this video, see his take on it. And his name is Baggins TV. So obviously a huge Lord of the Rings fan.
So as the title of this video suggests, we got some really exciting news today from Amazon Game Studios. They have reached an agreement with Middle-earth Enterprises to produce an upcoming MMORPG based on the iconic Lord of the Rings property. Now, of course, being Bilbo Baggins TV, I am very excited to hear.
I like this transition, the map.
Online back in the day. We also play a lot of Amazon Game Studios New World.
Wait,
so
did you hear that? He plays Lord of the Rings online back in the day. He's already getting vibe check.
Seeing those two universes cross over together has me very excited. Now, we're going to check out this link here. I will put a link to it in the description down below as well if you want to check it out. But what I will say is this channel, we're going to be very keenly focused on any upcoming news about the Lord of the Rings MMORPG. So if you guys want to stay in the loop, make sure you go and hit that subscribe button. Anytime there's something new out there, we will, of course, have a video on it. So by clicking the link, we get taken through to Amazon Game Studios website here. They give us a little bit of information on the game. So it is done with Embracer Group, and to my understanding, it is actually Amazon Game Studios that are developing it as well as publishing it as well. So the upcoming game will be an open-world MMO adventure in a persistent world set in Middle-earth, featuring the beloved stories of The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings literary trilogy.
Yes. Good call. Don't try to do something weird. Do what's known. The only concern now, are they going to do it properly?
So it seems to imply that this is going to be in the third age as opposed to the second age, which the Amazon ring.
Y'all, love or hate New World, you gotta admit, if you take these graphics and you make it a Lord of the Rings style, like if Lotro had these graphics, we'd all be peeing our pants. So that's one good pro. The big budget studio has big money to make good graphics and good systems. Something to think about.
Rings of Power series currently focuses on. The game is in the early stages of production.
Oh, I take that back. I was wrong. I guess that was footage from the Gollum series. I'm sorry. That's what I get for uh speculating too soon and just assuming.
So I guess we're not gonna get any gameplay this year. Maybe, possibly, maybe an alpha, some beta, or something like that, something NDA.
The Gollum game
With
did have
Amazon Games
some
Orange
good
County,
scenes, but
makers
most
the
of it was
popular
trash.
Open world MMO game New World. So yeah, the Amazon Games Orange County who make New World. So we do have some New World devs working on this one. They are leading the development of the game. Now I know some people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, New World." That was such a travesty. Keep them away from Lord of the Rings. And I understand where you're coming from. But what I will say is if you guys ever had a chance to check out the original vision of New World before it was an MMO, they kind of like pivoted from having an MMORPG or they pivoted from having a loot box open world PvP sandbox game into an MMO, and they built it off of like this mess, this just horrible mess of spaghetti code, and tried to make it what it is today. And honestly, I think New World, if you guys actually, I know you guys are gonna hopium or copium in the comments, but the game is actually pretty good. New World is improved a lot these days.
It has, but it's more of an RPG than an MMO. It's just an RPG. You see other people running around, and MMO stuff not too much to do than that.
So I think it's good to give them a second chance and see what they can actually do here. I do imagine that the original alpha version of New World, but with a Lord of the Rings skin over the top of it, would be incredibly fun to play.
Wouldn't it?
If you
It'd
guys
be
want to check
cool,
out some
guys.
old alpha gameplay, I'll link that in the description down below as well. Amazon Games will publish the game globally for PC and console. So
Oh, I love playing with controller. Hate me for that, but I'm not gonna play the game on console. I'm gonna download it for PC just because you can run better graphics and stuff than that. But at least that means that console's in mind, so that means the controller supports could be very well made for it.
So the Lord of the Rings MMO is also going to be on console as well. This does seem to be something that they're quite keen for. We can look at some of the other MMOs that they are developing
Now this
or publishing.
stuff, like
Throne and
what he
Liberty,
was
for
showing
example.
previous,
Amazon's
this
got, like, a
is
huge
not,
back catalog
but
now of MMOs.
previously.
We've got, Lost Ark, we've got
What
New
is
World,
this?
we've got Throne and Liberty, we have Blue Protocol. Now we have the Lord of the Rings MMO
What
as well. I think that's 5
cutscene
different MMOs
is
that
this?
they're currently either developing
What
or publishing,
game?
which is pretty insane. Additional details,
Oh, is
including
that
launch
that?
timing, will be shared at a
Was that from that mobile game, like Rise to War or something like that? The mobile Lord of the Rings game. I played it a little bit, but those type of strategy games not my cup of tea.
later date. They do say they're committed to bringing players high-quality games, whether it's through original IPs or long-beloved ones like the Lord of the Rings, the VP of Amazon Games. So there's a little bit more information here, nothing too important. Down here they say we have the clear ambition to create the highest quality entertainment products for this IP, whether we utilize internal resources or team up with the best industry partners that complement our capabilities. So they are open to outsourcing some work from what we can tell here. We're taking every care to deliver an MMO which will do the justice of the expansive Middle-earth universe and delight players around the world. So the game doesn't have a title yet, but it continues their momentum of publishing and developing lots of MMOs. As we mentioned, they got New World, they got Lost Ark. Upcoming, we also have Throne and Liberty as well, and Blue Protocol from
Which
Bandai.
have both been
Tomb
came
Raider,
out
which I don't think is actually an
since
MMO,
then.
but that's another one that they've got under the belt as well. And they also mentioned here separately, Amazon Studios produces the hit series, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power,
Nah.
which takes place.
No, not for them to dare put hit series. Money and hit series are not the same thing. Okay, there's gonna be suckers that pay for things all the time, but it's not a hit series. Okay, and they know that. They know that.
In the second age and unrelated to this upcoming MMO, which seems to be, as we mentioned, in the third age, if it is based off of the book series, The Lord of the
Which
Rings.
is
and
the right
Hobbit.
choice
We
to
do have
go
another
with.
article here as well, and again, links to everything in the description down below, but it's a further little look into the development team that is going to be making the Lord of the Rings project. So I do find it interesting here. They say, in a first for Amazon Games, one of its internal studios will lead development for a game based on external IP. So I guess they're saying that it's going to be an internal team, but external IP, whereas previously it was an internal team for an internal IP, aka New World. They say the number one thing about a property like this is that you have to be respectful and authentic. When someone is a fan of Lord of the Rings and sits down and plays the game for the first time, they have to say, this was crafted by a bunch of people who lived in this world just like I do. In my head, they get it. So yeah, we get a bunch.
I like that statement, actually. I like that statement because that shows that they're actually thinking that they're gonna respect it. You know,
Of Lord of the Rings Tolkien nerds working on the game by the sounds of it.
that
We
would
understand this
that would be
world, the
best
people working on
situation.
this team love these works. We're right there, we're with the fans, that we want to make sure it's a game that fans will enjoy. So it does seem like they are going to be hopefully respecting the lore, not making too many changes or tweaks. That was one thing that people were quite critical of the Rings of Power, for just kind of winging it and making up the story, which is always
Hey,
weird
Lord of the
because
Rings Online
Lord of the Rings is
footage.
an incredible story told by an incredible storyteller, and yet they were like, oh, we can do better than that. I'm like, no, just, you know, if the works are available there, then stick to the works rather than trying to create something better. You know, I think it's okay to take reference and inspiration, but a lot of the times just trying to rework things and change the story when it's already so good, it just seems a bit of a, I don't know, a bit what's the word, big-headed, something like that. Now, for those of you concerned about New World, have they forgotten about New World with this new MMO? They do say the studio will continue to support New World as it begins to work on the new Lord of the Rings project in earnest. Thankfully, its large team has developed a pragmatic and proven approach to building and sustaining an MMO, and understands how to manage multiple projects in parallel, all while listening to player feedback. Yeah, it's, again, they're just gonna have so many MMOs on the go. It's gonna be interesting to, you know, see how they handle this.
How big
one.
of a team do they
Don't
got
expect
to be
New
able to do
World
this?
2.0. The team at Orange
Awesome.
County is
Thank you.
rightfully
I
proud
don't
of
want a
New
New
World's
World
success and
2.0. I want the Lord of the Rings MMO. Thank you.
everything the studio has learned about launching and sustaining an MMO along the way, but they're also determined to deliver a truly unique and differentiated experience in this upcoming Lord of the Rings game. So it's not really
Awesome. Awesome. All hands on deck for development of that game. Put your focus in that. Make sure it's amazing.
going to be like New World, from what they're saying here. Not to say the team will be starting entirely from scratch. Players and developers know building an MMO is especially challenging, but they've already have several tried and true technical achievements under its belt. New World has substantial new features in development, and that basis plus new innovations will be providing a compelling environment to create virtual Middle-earth experience. So I wonder if this is going to be the same game engine as New World.
I think that was been confirmed already that it is. And I'm fine with that because I think New World's game engine looks amazing. So
hope that... Oh, I think we might get an answer down here. Let's find out. Down here it says, while New World's Azoth engine will form the foundation of the game, the Orange County studio plans to evolve that engine considerably to deliver something that feels distinct from New World and fitting for the world of Middle-earth. The team has
So
some
might
big
be like
plans
a
for the
blend.
next generation of New World's Azoth engine that will unlock exciting new possibilities for its take on Middle-earth. I'm gonna be honest. This kind of concerns me a little bit.
Not me.
I do
I think
seem
it
to
sounds
be
good.
At grips with New World right now, but one of my biggest takeaways for why New World has so many issues is because the engine that it's built on was just, I don't know, very unstable, and like I say, a lot of spaghetti code.
I guess
so
he
they
knows
are going to
that.
continue to use the same engine for New World, so it is going to have that sort of New World visual to it, unless they heavily modify the
It
engine.
looks good
We'll have
though.
to see,
But
but
yeah,
now
if
you guys might remember a
developing
while ago,
stuff
there was an
is hard,
announcement
and
that
that's a
Amazon
big
was
deal.
going to be making a Lord of the Rings MMO. It was actually going to be done with Tencent, and they talk about this a little bit down
That one
here.
got
So
canceled.
they say those with long memories may recall that this is not the first time Amazon Game Studios has been involved in plans to
That one got
build an
canceled.
MMO based on the Lord of the Rings. The first deal, intended as a co-development effort, unfortunately fell through after the success of New World. Amazon Games and Middle-earth Enterprises discussed the idea of a collaboration, agreed that the Orange County studio is the best fit to deliver an MMO based on Tolkien's novels, and signed a new contract.
If Middle Earth
This is
Enterprises
unrelated to, what we
kind of
saw
thinks that they have a
little
good
while ago.
hands
So
on the
obviously
belt,
this
then
is
it might
absolutely
actually be
huge
good.
news. As somebody who is a big Lord of the Rings fan myself, I cannot wait to get my hands on this game and to play it. I spent a lot of hours playing Lord of the Rings online, and on that topic, some people might be asking, well, there already is a Lord of the Rings MMO. Why make a new one if the old
That's
one
you
exists?
guys. That's you
In my
guys.
opinion, Lord of the Rings Online is quite tired. It is
This guy is, don't hate him. He is the common player base. I keep getting the same comments just from my small videos and the small amount of views that I've been getting as this new creator. I keep getting comments like this, that it's, and then like even in Reddit, you see it constantly. It's the graphics are outdated, the UI sucks, everything. Now that may not bother me or you, or maybe you watching it does, but the most new common player base, and if we want something that's Lord of the Rings to thrive, it needs to be updated and modern, guys. That's just the reality. I'm not a doomer. I'm not a gloomer. I love Lord of the Rings Online. but it is the reality.
Its glory days have been and gone, and it doesn't really seem like whoever's currently developing or publishing the game has the best intentions to bring it to the modern age. Now maybe that
They
will
don't.
change. Maybe
They
this is
don't.
gonna,
I mean,
you
they're
know,
kind of in
fan
survival
a flame under
mode.
their butt, and they're
Not
really gonna
survival mode. Let me say sustain mode. Let's keep our employees employed. Let's keep pushing out new content, and let's keep going forward as long as we can. I think that's what it feels like for me, at least, because the expansions, they feel very fluffed, very lackluster of meaning. Maybe that's just because we already ended the epic of the Lord of the Rings inside the game. But I even felt like Minas Morgul was pretty fun and pretty cool, that expansion. But then after that expansion, nah, y'all, I'm not a big Umbar fan. I'm not a big Fate of Gundabad fan. I'm not a big War of the Three Peaks fan. I'm not a big Legacy of Morgoth fan. Admittedly, I need to play some more Legacy of Morgoth, and I'm going to continue to on my main. But it's so far what I've seen from it is I'm not a big fan of it. I don't know. It just doesn't even feel like Lord of the Rings to me. But I did like Minas Morgul though, and some people didn't. You know, that's kind of that area where a lot of people felt is where they took a turn in a chapter and started not respecting the lore as much, and they kind of had to make their own stories and tales. Like for one instance, the Isildur being a wraith now, you know, things like that. But
work hard to try and bring the game into the modern age, but I just can't see it happening personally. So I am excited to see something new here. Also for Amazon Game Studios to prove that, you know, this is not going to be a New World 2.0, and this is going to be something significantly better as a launch product. Again, New World is a good game. It's gotten a lot better.
It is.
If you don't trust me,
It is, y'all.
check it out. Most people probably own a copy of the game. They just haven't got it installed. New World is better. And really excited for this one. So once again, if you guys are interested in more news and more upcoming information about the Lord of the Rings MMO being made by Amazon Game Studios, make sure you go ahead and click that subscribe button. We'll have any new information when we get it. We'll have a video on it here. And as always, go ahead, click the like button if you enjoyed this one. All right, I'll catch you guys all in the next video. Goodbye.
All right, y'all. That is Baggins TV talking about the new Lord of the Rings MMO. Subscribe to his page, like it, give that video a like. Good. I like his content. I like a lot of MMO content. Now, it's time for the very surprise I mentioned in the beginning of the video. Y'all, this is my main channel. Again, I wouldn't even call it a main channel because my current channel, the Starburst one, I made it originally because I felt like my main channel had content like right here, IRL content. This is kind of more IRL content. And then it had gaming content. And I actually do have some Lord of the Rings online content way back in the day. This is what I would make some Lord of the Rings online content. So if you want to check those videos out, you can. But the thing we're here for is this right here. I made a little funny cartoon. It's now 2 years ago. It's actually been a little bit longer. That was kind of like just supposed to be like a mockumentary, a spoof of Amazon's Lord of the Rings MMO and how they might make it. You know, it's one of those. It was kind of like putting a jab to it, so it's kind of funny to watch. It's short. Now, it does pertain to what we're talking about, and it's pretty funny. So it's gonna be weird because, again, for me, it's gonna be very cringy. I felt like 2 years ago I was even worse at content creation and very bad at it. Now I feel like I kind of am starting to understand it a little more. At least the things that I film directly, I feel like I feel more confident on a camera. I feel like I feel more confident talking to just a camera and talking to people through streams or things like that. So this may feel a little cringy for me, but I hope you all enjoy. Here it is.
Oh there, you startled me. You see, I am already quite startled today, as I was just going to warn Frodo of the Nazgul in the Shire.
That was my best impression of making a Gandalf voice. Oh there, you startled me. That's the best I could do, okay?
And it was then that I saw him and Sam pegging one another like Sally lads. Now I am not
the reason I hope you guys don't think I'm like, okay, that I just, because Sam and Frodo, they always kind of, there's some scenes where they kind of do seem a little too, you know, okay. Yeah.
Not one to judge, but I did not realize Frodo had a taste for gardeners. He's quite fond of berries, yes indeed. But I wasn't aware those were the berries he was looking for. If you get what I mean. Anyways,
Yes, that is supposed to be what it's supposed to be. I used fruit and a cucumber for it because I didn't want to get striked from YouTube due to that. But my humor since then has changed very much so. A lot can change in 2 years.
we better go. There's much to do and a Dark Lord looking to sell all of his items off on Amazon until we give him every last cent in our pockets.
Have you seen it? Have you seen?
Already the JPEG with the moving mouth. I thought I was so clever back then being able to make this. Like now I can do stuff way more than this. But I thought I was so clever just being able to put like some pictures of my hand and a little sword and the JPEG golem moving. I thought I was so clever back then. Now I can do way more, so much easier. It's weird how fast I've been able to grow at things, and I'm still learning. I'm still hoping I get better at things, and I'm sure I will as long as I keep creating. But I just find that funny.
My ring. The last piece to complete my outfits collection is lost. Oh, it's lost. What will we do now? How will we model for Vogue and Versace without the ring? What is it, my love? You don't believe we are a model? Why, yes, we are, my precious. Back in the day, we would walk down the stage like a boss. I was a star. You still don't believe us? Here then, you little turkey. Smigos shows you his iPhone. Ain't we's beautiful? Say it. Say it. Say it. Now our precious is lost and it's the last pizza for our outfits. We can't show up like this. That dirty Bagginses. We hate them forever. Hey, you wouldn't happen to know where Baggins is, would you? Wanna play a game of riddles?
Yeah, so it's safe to say I didn't continue with that series. I don't know. I was gonna make a whole series of just like cartoons of what it could be, but it did decent. It got 3K views, but that is over a course of 2 years. Now my recent video, the WoW Lord of the Rings one, is like at that within a matter of days. So all right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed this video, this fun time. We kind of learned some information of the new MMO. We know my feelings are a little more settled. I feel a little more confident that Amazon may actually pull it off and may actually do what they like we're all hoping they'll do and respect Lord of the Rings content and the lore. But we'll see how it ends up. Comment your thoughts below. I want to hear them. This is a discussion, dude. We are a channel filled with all types of different people. I want to hear your thoughts. Comment them below. All right. See you later. Bye. Peace out.